What happens when you combine the best offensive line in football with the most complete back in the NFL? You steamroll teams. Running behind future chefs and club bouncers in New York, Barkley's talent justified the draft pick, but he never rose to the heights the Big Apple was hoping for. All that has changed in Philly. Winners of 8 straight, the Eagles are destined for January, and built for it too. With the loss of an Hall of Fame center in the offseason and an all-pro left tackle to injury, you'd expect to see a dip in play from the line. But despite the reshuffle, they haven't skipped a beat, remaining the best group in football. This is largely down to coaching, and Jeff Stoutland being the best line coach in the league, seeing every player that plays under him reach their full potential. The line are always trying to displace defenders both horizontally and vertically, maximizing their athletic talents by using them in space, overwhelming opponents to open up lanes. It's outside split zone here, so Barkley's aiming off the outside shoulder of his right tackle and reading the line back across. The end jumps wide, reading the action and forcing it back inside, and Becton and Jurgens have a double team on the D tackle, clearing him out the gap to create an alley. The Mike thinks he's seeing inside zone with the split action and tries to fill the A gap. And here's the problem. If you give Barkley that much space, he's taking it crib every time. More outside zone here against the Jags, and everybody wins their block. Lane Johnson stalls any upfield path of the D end, and then wins the block when he reroutes, but it's just enough to send Barkley inside, where a great double block again between Becton and Jurgens opens a hole. Jurgens notices the D tackle wide and under Becton's control, so peels off the double and seals the backer outside. Landon Dickerson does an excellent job to cut the one tech off and keep the lane free. And stand-in left tackle Fred Johnson does a good job climbing to the indecisive backer, leaving everybody blocked. I've lived in apartments smaller than this gap, and only the safety stops this one going the distance. When you have athletic linemen, horizontal movement can really stress the defense, and it's not all zone. Here's the horns concept we looked at in our Cardinals video, where both the center and play side guard pull, creating the same kick-out lead action of the counterplay. Dickerson gets a matchup on a corner, sending him pinballing backwards, and Cam Jurgens comes through the created alley and lays the boom. Having to replace the great Jason Kelce, Jurgens has honestly been outstanding. Here's a play they ran for Kelce all the time, where they pull the center in a wide zone action, getting the ball all the way to the edge. 2 key blocks help seal this. A climb block from backup Tyler Steen, who gets to the mic before he can reach the line of scrimmage, cutting off his chance for a play, and A.J. Brown, who picks the safety on his down block. Jurgens shows tremendous athleticism and footwork, snapping and pulling around his guard and tackle, launching the unsuspecting corner. Barkley is then free to the edge, untouched. And I don't think he's ever gone this distance without contact at MetLife. And this beautifully blocked counter took them home against the Rams. LA have everyone down in the box, needing to get the ball back, and the counter has the backers guessing hard inside, leaving a problem coming. The line washes everyone down, creating a pileup, and Becton and tight end Calcaterra pull to lead the way. Advanced awareness by Becton here to spot the end trying to knife inside and ruin his kickout block, turning his block into a pin down and allowing Calcaterra to get outside of him and lead the way. Cameron Curl replaces the end trying to play the edge, but Calcaterra kicks him out and creates a huge lane. Adding Saquon's speed to these gaps means this run's going all the way as soon as he crosses the line of scrimmage. And now, a word from our sponsor, Geology. Looking for the latest and greatest in skincare? Well, look no further. Geology is a 36-time award-winning skincare and hair care company powered by science and recognized by publications such as Men's Health, Esquire, and more. Geology creates a simple and effective skincare routine that's customized just for you, using products built around a handful of powerful, proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. It starts with a simple 60-second online quiz, and within just a few clicks, their team of derm-grade professionals create a personalized routine based on your answers delivered straight to your door. It's really that easy. I've personally appreciated their everyday face wash for my mornings and use their body wash every time I step in the shower. It's that good. So what are you waiting for? Use my code in the description box and get yourself 70% off your own personalized skincare routine trial set, with an additional 50% off in add-ons as well. That's over $49 in product for just $15. Skincare has never been this easy, thanks to the good folks at Geology. Now, not every gap is that wide open, and Barkley brings with him a complete skill set. His vision and hunt for space is elite, using every move in the book to find it. The backer reads the play immediately and jumps the gap ready to wrap him up. But that ain't gonna happen. Eyes up, Barkley can somehow see an open B gap in his peripheral vision, cutting the linebacker to the floor to find it. Staying against the Rams, this is even crazier vision to find the running lane. Running inside split zone, Barkley's reading the A gap first, then taught to cut to the backside C if these get close shut. Feeling the push on the line, he knows none of these options are open, and somehow finds a route front side, cutting hard again to escape the collapsing Rams defense. That, ladies and gentlemen, is ridiculous vision. Here's similar circumstances on the inside zone against the Commanders. The nose makes this hard to run at the front side A gap, and Barkley is already spotting this before the handoff. He checks the backside C, but the mic is filling it, and it looks like he's just gonna have to put his pads down and just get the few yards available. As he does, he feels the nose break the line and spins out of his reach to go front side, but never loses feel for the play. Knowing the backer will jump out to hold the edge, he immediately cuts vertically off the spin, finding the space and forcing the safety to make a strong tackle. This vision and cutting ability doesn't just get the available yards, they create house calls of their own. The toss right gives Barkley lots of space to read the field, and he spots the big over pursuit of the Commanders' defense, pushing the edge to keep them committing, then cutting the safety to ribbons as he roars into the open field. Phenomenal block by Cam Jurgens on the weak side backer too, and Barkley's running free for the score. And here, his vision, moves, and the line combine for the house score. It's a brilliant block split zone, and this time it's Landon Dickerson bodying linebackers, getting Barkley into the secondary. Feeling the corner and safety collapse in to tackle him, Saquon hits a filthy juke to find a block, springing to the outside and putting him in a foot race with the safety. And nah, you really ain't got a chance. Just because he can dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge with the best of them doesn't mean he doesn't like contact. But he's a smart player and saves contact for when he has no other options available. Running a straight dive play here, Barkley feels the crashing corner, juking his ass to get to the outside. This sets him up with a one-on-one battle with the corner. And this just isn't a contest, as Barkley introduces him to the ground with a stiff arm. The safety's up next, and Saquon straight bounces off him, dismissing him to the sideline, and only a late shove by the hustling D-end keeps him short of the end zone. Against the Giants, it's going to take 6 different dudes to get him to the ground. Patient to set up the ISO, Barkley bursts when the daylight appears, breaking the attempted arm tackle from the D tackle. The safety Pinnock lines him up for a shot, but Saquon forces the bad angle and jumps out of his attempt. Trey Hawkins catches up to him and forces a cutback to help, but his high tackle gets thrown aside, requiring 3 more in pursuit to finally pull him down. And this one's subtle, but one of my favorite runs of his for sheer understanding of the game. Late against Baltimore, clock matters more than any yardage there is to be had, and resetting the chains is the main goal. He's following his tight end on the counter, and as soon as he sees a crease, watch him drop his pad level and just become a power back. He's running so low to the ground, nobody's stopping his momentum, driving his legs until he reaches the first. We've been focusing on the ground game so far, but part of what makes Barkley such a complete back is his adeptness in the air. He won't get the first on this long third, but it shows what a great checkdown option he is when nothing's open. Pinned to the boundary, Barkley spots the only route is through the corner, going straight through his chest. He then spins off the next tackler and requires 3 more to push him out short. But he ain't just a checkdown threat. Saquon is a certified receiver. This is a nice design by Kellen Moore to create a shot, bringing Dotson in motion to drag attention left then running the safety off with the clear-out route, forcing a backer to have to chase Barkley out and up on the wheel route. Saquon gives him a stutter at the top of the numbers to sell the option route and make him hesitate before stepping on that accelerator. It's a perfectly floated ball by Hurts and a beautiful track over the shoulder for the score. And okay, here's why you came to this video. Devoid of options, Hurts goes to his safety blanket against the zone, leading to one of the best runs of all time. The flat defender closes, but doesn't break down, leaving Barkley to cut back and brush off the tackle. The hook defender gets over to help, and Saquon looks to be heading inside to juke him, but feeling him cut off the angle, pulls off a filthy spin move. With the third man closing in, Barkley is side on to the defender and doesn't look like he has many options until he pulls off a damn backwards hurdle. Backwards hurdle. I have zero idea how he saw this or thought it was a good idea, but that's not something us mere mortals can understand. Like, what the fuck? Why would you even try this? For real, why would you try this? So far, we've only talked about the back and the big boys, but there's another man we gotta talk about, and that's the 600-pound squatting dual threat that is Jalen Hurts. A power back in his own right, Hurts just breaks any chance of teams solving this run problem. You can't just overload the box, because Hurts running essentially counts as an extra blocker, meaning defenses are just all out of ideas. This is what I mean when I say extra blocker. It's a zone read play here where the line will zone block left for Barkley and Hurts will read the backside end. He's forced to stand up and protect the edge just in case Hurts keeps it, creating an extra blocker. And Saquon finds a big hole inside and runs over to safety. It's almost exactly the same play here against the Bengals, just with a slight difference in backfield alignment. This time, Hurts spots the end crash inside and nobody protecting the edge, so calls his own number. And he's just so damn fast, nobody's gonna stop this from being a score. A concept that gets both of them involved, and I was calling for them to run before the season, is the bash concept. This is another option concept, but instead of zone blocking, they set up counter action for the QB to follow. If the backer stays to play the back, the quarterback keeps it and follows the counter inside. If he follows the pullers, the QB gives the ball to the back, working away from the play. You see the back work over to defend Barkley, so Hurts keeps it, following his blockers through the hole, wisely sliding once he has the first. And here it is against Dallas. The backer follows the pulling lineman, so Hurts hands off to Saquon, who's quickly to the edge for another first down. The distraction of Saquon is nice, but he doesn't have to be an actual ball threat for Hurts to be effective. Here, it's another QB counter concept, but here it's off the draw action with Barkley the lead blocker. His vision and size allow him to be a between the tackles runner even as a quarterback, and Hurts shows us his strength, barreling into his own man and making the back go flying. The draw action is a perfect match with Hurts, and he's not all power, he's got some moves too now. Here it is again with some nice distraction. Barkley rocket motions to set up what looks to be a 4-strong swing screen, but it's all just window dressing for number 1 to keep it. The backer sprints out the box to cover Barkley, and now it's 5-on-4 inside, allowing Dickerson to climb to the safety, and only a hustling safety from the far side holds this short. Of course, it doesn't just have to be designed runs. Strength and power shows up in his scrambles too. He's got the strength to step up through 2 arm tackles, then fight through 2 more serious attempts, remaining flexible enough to jump for the first. There's very few backs in the league who could make that play, let alone a damn quarterback. And while we're talking about unique plays, we have to talk about the brotherly shove. Many thought it would fall off with the loss of Jason Kelce, but the Eagles have been just as effective, and dare I say, even better at it this year. Nobody has come up with an effective way to stop it yet, and it continues to remain overpowered, especially on the goal line. Many D-lines try to submarine it, but this only works if you can get an upwards push, or the line just flattens you, and Hurts surfs over the top. When teams do try to condense as tightly as the Eagles line does, Hurts simply goes off tackle or flips it to Barkley. If you've got any defensive ideas for how to stop the tush push, drop it in the comments below, because I can't find a way, and neither can these NFL DCs. finally behind a line that matches his talent, Saquon is deservedly receiving calls for the MVP. Now, they hardly ever give these awards out to backs these days, and he'd be sharing it with his line. But man, has he really elevated this attack to another level. Chuck in a dual threat quarterback, one of the best receivers in the game we haven't even got a chance to talk about, and an emerging young defense, and you've got a playoff contender that can take it to anybody in the league.